Kelly, Bernard, you receive your instructions. Again, I repeat, obey my commands at all times. Keep it nice, clean, and professional. Touch them up. Good luck to both of you.
Along with Dave Bontempo and Ron Borges. It's been a long night of fighting, but all leading up to this, I'd have to judge by what we heard. It's a pro-Pavlik crowd for the most part. I think they all paid a lot of heavy toll fees to get over here from Ohio, and here we go. 12 rounds of boxing action from Boardwalk Hall in Atlantic City. Pavlik on your right side, the champion. Had a catch weight of 170 pounds. A fight that the money was too good to turn down. And we'll see what happens in this one.
They sold out the house, practically $700 ringside seats. About less than 80 miles away from here, but it's Pavlik's crowd.
I don't think, guys, the pre-fight.
No, I don't think so, but you know, that was all part of the gamesmanship that's going on here, the referee controversy. There was an argument over who was coming in the ring first. Pavlik's people said, we're the champion, we come in last. Hopkins people said, he's the legend, he comes in last. Which won't help him with the fight style.
Hopkins applying a little pressure there. A huge age difference, as we've mentioned, of 17 years.
That's never enough.
Never enough.
He's waiting. Pavlik cutting off the ring, enabling Hopkins to.
After being knocked down, coming back and won twice.
Two fights for each.
2 fights for each.
In that first fight with Taylor, he hit Hopkins with a good right hand in the second round and slowed him for several rounds, but then Hopkins mugged him from round 9 on. And Taylor really hasn't been quite the same since then. They'll try to do the same against Pavlik, try to mug him.
Pavlik trying to lead right there. The last 15-20 seconds, really fast pace. And as you'll notice, we've seen the development of Kelly Pavlik with good right hand just missing from Hopkins. Hopkins showed a lot of speed here tonight, guys. And
good fast start, and he has a beat on the right hand over the jab of Pavlik that he's trying to score.
Way the same.
Oh, there's a left hand that got in on Pavlik. That's been the issue that we were talking about. Pavlik is a dominating force at 160. And he comes in weighing in at 169 for this, and no telling what his weight was tonight. But he walks around at 175.
Crawl along in fits and starts, and not to have a huge, quick fight. Hopkins would like this to be an uneven bout in terms of its pace.
He'll change like a chameleon throughout the fight, showing flashes of speed early, but don't be surprised when you start seeing the shoulder movement.
Hopkins got to him.
He sure did.
Caught him with a straight left hand.
He sure did. You can tell Pavlik's reaction. He's in a little bit of trouble. Of course, we've seen that before. Same round he got hurt, Jermaine Taylor. Remember the second round. Another combination, left hand, right, left got in. You've been talking about the right hand over the jab. Pavlik's got to keep him off with the jab, and he's not throwing it.
Well, Pavlik does need to fire a quick jab and bring it back, because Hopkins is playing off that and then charging him and doing the mugging job.
There you go, part of the game. A bull rush every now and then.
Pavlik already starting to get a little bit of a mouse on his right eye.
And when you don't jab, Hopkins can come at you with that right hand lead. Normally what Hopkins is doing is, this is how you'd fight a lefty. But he comes and throws the right hand lead against the righty, and it confounds Kelly Pavlik here. Just one of the many tricks that has made Hopkins such a great fighter over the years.
All right, we'll see if that was a wake-up call for Kelly Pavlik. You heard it in the corner. We're talking about that jab, and he wasn't throwing. He wasn't doing, as Ron said, anything. to fight him as if he's fighting for the lead right hand. Fighting the southpaw.
You can't throw a double jab if you're not throwing a single jab.
Yeah, you got to throw one first to get the second one, don't you?
Whether he has too much respect for Hopkins, which can be a problem.
Or Hopkins is lined up defensively exactly where Hopkins, where Pavlik wants to throw the jab, and he's waiting.
Exactly, and Hopkins is smart enough to take the fight to him when he can, and that's what he's doing.
And I think Pavlik didn't expect
Esteves
it.
has got his hands full here. You won't find a more cerebral fighter than him ever.
But Pavlik was not expecting Hopkins to set the pace because he hasn't been in his last few fights.
And as we said in the preview, you never know. Some kind of weakness, and that's where he is.
I think his feeling also was, I'm going to come for him before he comes for me.
And he's getting off the punches early. And Pavlik hasn't landed anything solid. Crowd reacting to this 43-year-old legend in the ring, taking it to the 26-year-old.
And so far, the weight class deal for Hopkins is working out too. Guy's just not coming up with the same type of power, but he is tight. Pavlik has to let his hands go and try to get into a rhythm.
And that's another sign of that hesitancy.
Throughout a lot of the fight, the stopping and the starting. But he was able to get out in front before this and get some nice flurries together because Pavlik left himself open.
First good stiff punch of the night by Pavlik at the crowd. Roaring momentarily.
Yeah, he's sensing that he's got to get going here.
5 seconds. All right, let him out, let him out, let him out, let him out. Let him out.
Boy, another only 3 minutes.
Watch Hopkins here. Lands the little left hand. Grabs Pavlik before he can throw, and then lands the right hand over the top.
Combination of a sweet shot, a hold, and a sweet shot.
Round 4.
Nazim Richardson, Hopkins' trainer, basically wanted him to slow down a little bit, feeling that maybe he's coming out and trying to do a little bit too much.
He didn't slow down there. He working the body, working his jab. He's out jabbing Pavlik. Pavlik had to pull the right hand back right there.
Well, Hopkins has been doing all the action. And how big is a 3-point lead at this point of the fight if that's how the judges see it? Pavlik would have to win 7 of the next 9 rounds to win the fight. Talk about no margin for error.
Now we got Hopkins going into the movement and hard to hit mode.
And backing, he's backing up.
Hitting.
He's backing up a little more. He's laying on the ropes on purpose.
Yep.
Coming in that they would set a pace that they liked and Hopkins did not.
Bring no punches. Let's go. Let's go.
Bigger and thus far slower.
All right, let him out. Let him out. Let him out. Let him out.
Tight.
Watch the back of the head, both of you.
Just a little bit. Pavlik hasn't figured him out yet. He may not, but he's got to do what he does best.
Well, he's
and not worry about what Hopkins does.
He's starting to launch a little bit more.
Yep.
He's just trying to put more into his plan.
Hopkins is a genius in making the other guy do what he wants him to do. Got to turn that equation around on him.
Good left to the body there by Hopkins. Then he holds and slips back out.
He steals 10 to 15 seconds of pure.
Remember that double jab that Jack Lowe was talking
5
about?
seconds.
Has anybody seen that?
No. And it's a slow jab, too, the one he's throwing.
He's just started with the single.
Go to round 5. Kelly Pavlik has some catching up to do. Turn it around a little bit in round 4. And the famous Pavlik jab has yet to show up. And when it does, it's sort of pawing out there and not the effective punch that it has been in the past.
And when the jab right hand behind it is what you've made your living on, you take the jab out, you basically are not doing anything.
Maybe surprising Pavlik about the hand speed of Hopkins on the inside
The
because he's
aggressiveness,
not doing the jab in the right hand because of.
They thought it was going to be a lot of use of defense, and he would have to open up his defense. And it's been the opposite, which is the brilliance of Bernard Hopkins.
And remember, this man is 43 years old. Look at the quickness on the inside and the uppercut. Stealing points. You know, a few years ago, that would be unheard of to think a guy would have this much speed and stamina at age 43. But look at this. Hopkins just walking away from an almost low blow. Holding and hitting. Then going to the body. Pavlik had a clean shot there almost, but couldn't land it. Now there's a right hand that finally came back. The Pavlik crowd says, hey, it's the 5th round. We're waking up here a little bit. But look at the countering by Hopkins. Now Hopkins goes out in the middle of the ring and takes it to him.
We haven't seen this kind of sustained hand speed.
And Pavlik's starting to bleed from the nose, and Hopkins is doing a good job of BSing the referee into thinking he's getting hit behind the head when he's not getting hit behind the head.
Pavlik's going to have to bring that right hand behind the jab. And the so-called old man over there, but he's not doing it. Round 6.
Well, he's particularly quicker if you don't throw it.
And work the body, but he's doing it both ways. He's winning it from the outside with speed.
Well, he's being given, maybe some people would have thought based on the style and what Pavlik is leaving himself open for. Yeah, the Pavlik supporters would say no way would they figure he'd get in there and freeze up as he has done throughout most of the first 5 rounds.
Hopkins waving Pavlik in because Pavlik is smothering, he smothers himself. When he gets the position to jab, instead of jabbing, he keeps coming forward. Just what Hopkins wants, and he smothers him.
Then Hopkins beats him to the jab and it sets up the right hand. It's out clean with that.
Could be a breather round for Hopkins right here. That missed. Crowd reacts.
Watch your head in there. Watch your head in there.
Solidly at all that Hopkins is out there winning the battle from the distance and getting off faster.
And showing some pretty good movement after.
Good movement, yes.
A sneaky right hand, and then he's out of
Those
there.
things hurt with the lights out.
And they're clear shots for the judges, too, so you get the full scoring effect of it, then you tie up.
Now you've got Hopkins holding the back of his head. You've got Pavlik complaining to the referee. Just the type of thing that Hopkins wanted to get Pavlik involved in. Everything but doing what he needs to do to win the fight.
Got some blood on the face of Pavlik coming from his nose.
Sneaky right hand off the shoulder. And there's the head that got in at the same spot.
Kelly's best offensive and defensive weapon to set up everything he's been doing in his career.
It shows you that Pavlik is just pawing out there.
Right hand again. Another right hand. End of the round. None of the 3 of us have a judge's card in front of us. But you would think that whatever else he wants to warn them about, we got a little bit of everything.
Now, the key is just not to get 2 warnings in a row for the same offense.
Pavlik actually throwing a little bit of a jab to that counter right. Look at that right hand from Hopkins. Wow.
And then he hit him with an uppercut on the inside. That
another right hand over the top after he went to the body.
Right hand bothers you if you're Pavlik. A good hard left hook to the body.
Another right hand from those right hands that are coming in and slow down Hopkins.
And thus far, he's just not resisting.
Well,
Hopkins getting close, and Hopkins wants to hold him. He lets him hold it.
Hopkins has a way of making you
wants to hit on
like
the
yourself.
Undetermined.
Undetermined. You just don't want to get one for the same thing. Because if you get one for the same thing a couple of times, then the point comes. And that's where he should be jabbing and walking his way in. He's got him cornered.
Because Hopkins has him, at this point, utterly baffled.
There you go. that's a pretty good compliment.
And certainly Antonio Tarver in recent times as far as totally disrobing.
Oh, he's hurting Pavlik now with comment. And then he does the bolo punch. Pavlik's in trouble and Hopkins knows it. He knows it. 30 seconds, long time left in round 7. Hopkins put the pressure on, big right hand. What a show. My goodness. And Hopkins is smart enough to know if he can't take him out now, he might take him out later.
Maybe round 11. Who knows? Talk about turning up the gas here, Ron. Look at him go.
You see Pavlik walk forward.
Seconds out, stay right there, Bernard.
But he's not doing anything but get battered. If you're not going to throw punches, don't walk forward.
And that was a psychological beatdown as much as a physical beatdown when looks like Hopkins has got a third-rate sparring partner in there, and he's just putting on the show for the fans. I mean, that was a big round for Hopkins. We got a long way to go, and anything can turn, folks, but what a night so far for Bernard Hopkins.
One of the best rounds I've ever seen him have.
I would agree. I would agree 100%.
Left, right, left there by Hopkins. And Jack Lowe was telling Pavlik between the round that you're smothering yourself. You're not throwing your jab, and then you're getting too close to him and you can't throw anything.
They were talking before the fight that they figured they could put the kind of heat on Hopkins to maybe average close to 100 punches a round, and that has not happened. I mean, has been nowhere near that.
Well, he's right there. With the first little bitty of a double jab thing there he was throwing, but look at Hopkins come back. The speed's the difference, guys.
It looks like they, before the fight, they changed who had the 43-year-old legs.
And he's not snapping that jab out there. You wonder, there was a rumor before the fight that Pavlik had hurt his left elbow during.
Now, he has not been the least bit comfortable, has kept there for him. He's never been able to loosen up and get into a flow, and Hopkins deserves all the credit for that.
And do you think it maybe because he's in a different body tonight?
Nobody, really a lot of people, would have been a stretch off the Calzaghe fight to think that you'd get all of this from Bernard Hopkins up to this point.
And now he takes the point away from Pavlik.
Well, that's devastating. Pavlik's going to need a KO, guys. The way the scoring's going.
No question.
He had no points to give.
Nope.
A big right hand there over the top of that non-existent left.
Look at the left hand also by Hopkins.
Throughout Hopkins' last few fights, bop, get out, bop, get out. But if you don't have enough of a deterrent for him, then he'll just walk through you. Turn back the clock.
All right, we're not. Let's see last warning is over, okay?
Here's Hopkins, just ties up Pavlik. Now Hopkins moves his head to the side. He gets a glancing shot off the side of the head, and they take a point. Smart boxing.
That's ring savvy, Ron. That's what you.
It's smart boxing.
It's smart boxing. And guys, look at this combination and the speed. That's what makes this sport so great, guys, because you just never know.
2 dominating wins over Jermaine Taylor. So does A plus B equal C? No. To Kelly Pavlik.
You see there, Pavlik had Hopkins.
And he caught one in the ribs too, Ron, right as he came forward. Wow. We're in round 9, scheduled for 12 here at Boardwalk Hall.
They said in the corner before. Actually, he did in Jermaine Taylor, but the fact that he's used a lot of this ring surprised him.
And the hand speed and this ring intelligence.
Pressure on with in round 9. He knows instinctively where he is on the cards. Then his corner, Hopkins' corner, also talking about the right hand and the right hook is there. I think if he puts him down, it will be the right hook.
Whether he's overtrained or what, I don't know, but completely flat.
He's had that look since the opening bell.
cut opening up under the eye of that right hand by Bernard. I mean, Dave's been talking about so much, doing just enough.
Pavlik comes in and paws with his left hand. He doesn't throw his left.
And when you do it like this with Hopkins, you shorten the rounds. You make it maybe a 90-second round with the spurts, and then you win the short exchange.
Now he takes a count away from Hopkins for hold.
I thought he might do that. He gave an indication between rounds that, and maybe the biggest one if it becomes a big problem because of that right hand. If he gets the opportunity to do something big, maybe he'll.
When you talk about a ghost, he is a ghost of the guy who beat Taylor and the guy who's been dominating opponents for the last couple of years.
He just ate a left and another combination.
Maybe the smartest guy in boxing.
Don't spin him, don't spin him, don't spin him.
And if it was a normal human being in there, and Bernard Hopkins, you have to say that the later rounds were supposed to go Pavlik's favor because he's only 17 years younger. Everything that Hopkins could throw at him. And when the right hand wasn't effective there, Hopkins comes back and scores some points.
And if you look at the left hand, the way Pavlik is throwing it, the glove is even open. It's like he's right to the hip.
All right, break, no punching, let's go.
I think Hopkins is, well, that's the first big right hand.
No, watch that, watch
And
that,
Hopkins,
watch that.
of course, wasn't that big, but it was a more accurate one than we've seen in a while from Pavlik. That right hand over the top is pretty good too. Hopkins.
He'll wait and
he's willing to give the round away, but Pavlik isn't doing enough to take it, I don't believe.
Both
the textbook way of fighting with a lead.
No punch.
Watch here. Hopkins flurries on the inside. He goes to hold with the left hand, and he says, I can hit him with the right hand, so he does.
Going to round number 11.
Bernard got a little redness on his left cheekbone, but other than that.
Forgot to ask, guys, what were the final odds going into this fight?
A little bit more than a 2-to-1 favorite, I believe, was Pavlik.
Like you said, I believe Hopkins is in that fighting with the lead mode.
And he's taking the fight out of the crowd.
You know, some people right now are saying, I drove 400 miles for this.
Did you expect to hear any booing like we're hearing? It's just, you've used so many adjectives, out of sorts. Pavlik maybe overtrained. I'm sure that the elbow theory will.
He turned up the pace.
Hopkins, that right hand, another right hand. It looks like Pavlik's gassed, guys.
Yep. He doesn't have much in there, and he's just really pretty much on fumes, tying up now. And you know, it's a lonely place in there when you know you need a miracle.
Well, we got time left in this fight. If Pavlik would do this again at this weight.
Pretty much guaranteed no. Take a little time off, go back down.
Hopkins gets off first again. And I can guarantee at the press conference, the first words out of Bob Arum's mouth might be, well, might be not a good idea for him to fight at 1 second. Bob knows. We come to round 12. Crowning achievement in a great career of one of the best that's ever been in the ring, Bernard Hopkins.
It seemed like there was nothing left for him to do, and he said there's nothing left to prove. Well, he found something else, and it looks like he will climb that mountain.
Lost a controversial decision to Joe. Oh, big right hand. And Pavlik's in big trouble. Can Hopkins close the show in grand style? And now you start wondering about any long-term damage for Pavlik. A man who had knocked out 30 of 36 opponents is being dominated.
Well, Pavlik has given him no reason to overly respect him, so he's cutting loose.
Yeah, look at him, just holding his hands down, little
Well, he got
wide grin on his face.
He got hit with a little right hand by Pavlik there, and he just smiled.
If you just had turned this fight on at this moment with a minute left in the 12th and looked at these two guys, you'd have a pretty clear idea who won it.
You'd also think it was 1998.
50 seconds left.
This is utter domination of one man over another.
A refreshing new angle.
35 seconds left. And boy, does this throw a monkey wrench into a lot of things in boxing right now.
Showed different looks. He mugged him, tied up when he had to.
From the start to the finish.
That's that, coming down to the final bell. All that's left is to tally it up. Bad blood at the end there.
That's too bad.
Yeah, that's too bad. Too bad for this because it was a...
Alan Bernstein scores at 119, 106. Steve Weisfeld, 118, 108. Barbara Perez, 117, 109. As we turn the page to another chapter of a boxing legend from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, the two-time champion and future Hall of Famer, Bernard, the Executioner